Got a multi-part viewer question this time. Can you shoot someone if they're robbing your car, stealing your car, or stealing your dog? Here to help answer this multi-part question is Tom Grieve, noted criminal defense attorney and former state prosecutor. Thank you very much for being here, Tom. Always enjoy your insights. Before we get into answering this question, we have a gun giveaway going on. It's happening right now. You can enter for free, but it ends really soon. So click the link in the description down below to reveal which brand new gun you could win. All right. Question came in robbing your car, and I'm going to switch that over to burglarizing your car. Robbery, involves actually, using force to take something from a person, and that would fall under the Castle Doctrine law. But if someone is burglarizing your car, go out there and just light them up a few rounds in the back while they're bent over looking in your dash.
Don't.
No, good.
Yeah, don't. And yes, I follow you. And people confuse robbery and burglary just like they confuse jail and prison. It's those are interchangeable terms for most people, and for those of us in the field, those mean completely different things.
Yes.
So, but at any rate, though, yeah, don't. Now, there's one state where there may be some legal justification to it, but that's the outlier. I'm not going to go into that. Mm-hmm. For everywhere else, this isn't stuff defense. This is people defense, as you like to say. Yep. We cannot use deadly force to protect property. Period. End of sentence.
Now, somebody's going to drop it in the comments, so I'll head this off at the pass. What if your car is inside your attached garage and you hear rustling and you go out into the attached garage and there's somebody in your car and, hey, get out of my car or I'm going to shoot you. At this point, does Castle Doctrine law, if it applies in your state or someone is that person in your car, in your garage, are they now technically in your home if that is an attached garage?
It depends.
Great.
You knew that was coming. It depends on how far Castle Doctrine will extend in your state. Mm-hmm. Does it only apply to the domicile or the dwelling, or i.e. the home in and of itself? Mm-hmm. Does it apply to an attached structure? Does it apply to detached structures? I'm going to throw a legal word at you. Does it apply to the entire curtilage? Does it only apply to property that's contiguous? In other words, part of your home, or if you also have something across the street, let's say, would it apply there as well? These are all great reasons to become familiar with your local laws, because truly that's where the answer will fall. Now, that being said, if someone is trying to get away, let them get away.
Absolutely.
That is the no-brainer, do it every time response. If you walk into the garage, it's 2 a.m., you heard a rustling, you have your firearm with you, and they get out and they charge you with their knife held high screaming, that is, frankly, the Castle Doctrine may apply, but that is also just a straight-up self-defense case is what that is. Yeah. And keep in mind, and we've talked about this before, and it's always worth bringing it back, and what I'm going to say, the Castle Doctrine is not some sort of license to kill that a lot of folks in politics and elsewhere like to make it out to be. It is not. Castle Doctrine creates a presumption that you are in legal fear of imminent death or great bodily harm, or however your state words it. It creates a presumption under the law that you are confronted by a deadly threat. You don't have to wait for the guy in your bedroom at 2 a.m. to make a move with a firearm or a knife before you can say, oh, this guy is here for a bad reason. They constitute a deadly threat. Don't have to do that, okay? But anytime we have the P word, there's an R word that follows it, rebuttable. In other words, that the prosecutor can introduce evidence to show that, I'm going to rebut this presumption that they were here because they were trying to get away. They're no longer a deadly threat, right? That's usually the most common one that you see out there, is they were trying to get away, therefore they are no longer a deadly threat. So if someone's trying to get away, number one, there's a good chance that Castle Doctrine no longer applies. And when I say good chance, I mean basically 100%. And also, there's an equally good to 100% chance that this is no longer a deadly threat scenario. Let them get away.
Yeah, and I think it's a good opportunity to tell people, too, that think tactically about what you're doing. that person out in your garage, burglarizing your car. The right tactics in that point is to, give that verbal challenge, that verbal command, get out of here, I've called the police, and then retreat to a location where you're no longer defending your stuff if this person comes after you.
Right.
Yep, you might lose your Taylor Swift CD collection from your car.
Speaking from experience.
Yep, I'm still heartbroken that
So is she.
Lost all of those Taylor Swift CDs, but the use of deadly force. There's questions when people ask, "Can I shoot someone?" You shouldn't be looking for reasons to shoot someone. You should be looking for reasons not to shoot someone so that you don't have to go through the entire process that follows. Even if it was a justified shooting, you're still going through the process. And that is not a good place to be as a honest, law-abiding citizen. So stealing your car is the same thing. Same thing. That whether someone's burglarizing from your car or stealing your car, it's going to be the same thing. The next one comes up, and so many people consider their pets part of their family. Someone is stealing my dog or trying to hurt my dog or something of that nature. I notice nobody ever calls in or sends a question about protecting their cat.
I knew there was going to be a cat joke here.
But it's always someone's stealing my dog. So dog napping is as far as I am aware, and I will let you take over from here, not an imminent threat of death or great bodily harm, and you can't shoot a person for stealing your dog, no matter how good that dog is.
Yeah, cats are too distrusting, by the way. They don't let anyone get near them. So that's why the reason nobody's stealing cat. You can't. It's probably impossible. Yeah. But right, as much as Fifi might be a member of the family, Fifi will not be regulated or regarded by the law as a human being. And as a result, you are not going to be entitled to use of force third person or defensive other laws if you do use deadly force. Yeah. Now, that does not mean that you have no physical remedy, i.e., to my knowledge, most states have some sort of if someone's interfering with your person or property and it's not deadly force, you can use non-deadly reasonable force to stop that interference, right? So if somebody's trying to grab Fifi, and you can go up and stop them. Yeah. It doesn't mean you can use deadly force. Don't use deadly force, and the force that you use must be reasonable. Okay. But that's what you'll be that's what you'll be allowed to do. Understand that if you do decide to do that, number one, you don't know who you're picking a fight with or not picking a fight with, but you don't know who you're going to be engaging with. Could be they've got 3 friends, all more armed to the teeth than the other one, ready to get you. So it's a no-win situation for sure. But bottom line is you cannot use deadly force.
Yeah, and it's not like we haven't heard stories about people stealing other people's dogs, and that can end up, the dog thief is then a felon, in some cases and things like that. We understand that, but no, I mean, best way to protect your dog, then take a Krav Maga class or something like that, and pull out a rear naked choke or something that just stops the guy from illegally interfering with your pet.
That's Kevin advice. That's not Tom advice, just to be clear.
This is not legal advice at all. You can use a level of force.
Right.
It cannot be deadly force. It must be objectively reasonable force to protect your pet.
Yes.
So as much as folks who are watching this might not want to hear that, because there are some very strong opinions about dogs in particular, and what must be done with people who steal or mistreat or anything like that. We're looking at this purely from a legal standpoint. You're not going to have that right to use deadly force to protect that canine.
Correct.
Thanks again for being here, Tom. Always love your insight. Truly appreciate it. Folks, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Now, we'll remind you once again, we got that gun giveaway going on, so click the link in the description to learn more. I'm Kevin Michalowski. If you enjoy guns, freedom, and everything about concealed carry, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. We'll see you in the next video. Stay safe.